right? What's hibbity? What's happening?
You got him. You got him. Hey, sorry for the delay. Cousin Oz still in my mailman uniform. Just ran into the house. Had to come down here. Cousin Tony leaves for one day, and shit hits the fan. But we got it. We got it covered. I'm here. I'm with the man, Rob, the sports car therapist, taking over for Tony. Tony, he's at a destination. What is that? A freaking. They're doing a bachelor party in Tennessee, Nashville, something crazy like that.
I want to know what kind of friends he's had.
Dude,
I've never gotten invited to leave town. Never, nonetheless, freaking the state to go to
bro,
a
and
bachelor
it's
party.
somebody I know. It's not like it's not, I know the person that's getting married. I
You
didn't
didn't
get
get
the
the
invite.
invite?
No, no,
Mm.
we're kind of related. And so I'm kind of feeling a certain type of way, but it's all good.
But you know
Um,
what, though? It's more money for cards for you
yeah,
by not
I'll take
going.
that.
You know what I
That's,
mean?
yeah, I guess that's a good point. No, but that's crazy. A destination bachelor party. What are they going to come up with nowadays? I know a destination wedding, but a bachelor party? Come on.
Listen, I can't fully knock that. When I got engaged, my I said to my best man, who was my cousin, I said, "Listen, man, like I think we should all just take like a 3 day or 2 night trip to Vegas. Let's just jump on the freaking plane and go, like Wolfpack style, you know?"
Yeah.
And all my broke ass groomsmen were like, I don't know. I'm like, you know what, dude? You know what? We'll just do it. We'll do it here. It's all good. All
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I'll tell you how sad my thing was because I waited so long to get married. I couldn't even remember. I was thinking about it when Tony was talking about the destination bachelor party. I was like, what the hell did I do for mine? I realized that the guy that was my best man, he was a born again Christian by the time, like when we were best buddies, we were going out to the clubs every night. By the time I got married, he's a born again Christian. So he took me to Great Adventure with two other guys, so to avoid any strip clubs or drinking or anything like that. So that was my bachelor party, Great Adventure.
Listen, I'll take Great Adventure any day of the week. But you know what? I say that now. I talk a big game because I'm sitting here in my office in a leather roller chair right now. But when I went to Great Adventure 2 years ago, I brought my nephew. I was scared to death, and there were like 3 rides that I just refused to go on. So
That's
I
great.
was proud of some of the rides I went on as a 37-year-old man, but the other rides, no, because I can't do heights. I don't do heights in general.
No, you
So
don't do heights. Okay, I can feel that. I feel that. I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm kind of adventurous. I can do the King Ka and all that craziness that's over there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we have a bunch of people in the chat right now. Obviously, your boy was number one in the chat. If you want to
Oh,
rally off the
of
roll
course,
call,
my boy, everybody's boy, Mr. James Lumen in the heezy for sheezy. Welcome, baby.
we also have Denny Cards. Shout out to Denny. So
Oh,
I had just finished up recording for his podcast right before I came over here.
really?
So yeah,
Oh,
so Denny is on episode 30 right now. He is flying through these episodes. He must be doing like 3 episodes a week or something
listen,
because he is
man.
flying through them.
We talked about it on our podcast, on the Cousins podcast. Denny, he won the national. That dude was on figgity fire. Anywhere and everywhere. Appreciate Denny, man. There's some people giving him a hard time. If I find out who they are, they're gonna get it, bro. We don't mess around like that.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. So shout out to Denny, man. Shout out to Denny. We had a really good therapy session on his podcast, man. So definitely check that out. So I was commenting, just letting people know that you were going to be late, and I was coming through as Cousins Collectibles. So I had to
Okay.
clear the air and say, like, listen, no, this is Rob. So um but yeah, man. So great episode that you guys that you did earlier this week. Great episode. Carmine especially was blown away by it and blown away by your vulnerability in it. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but just wanted to say big ups to you guys on your episode for sure.
Oh no, thank you, thank you, thank you. That kind of we pull back the curtain, as Tony likes to say. That was just impromptu. We didn't have that in the books. Tony just came out with that question, and it was just a raw question, and I figured let me answer it honestly, and as we always do. So yeah, man, there's times we're gonna get into a little bit later, but as I'm you basically look at it, I've only been back in the hobby, 2 years. So I'm still learning every day. And there's people that have been in this business 50, years collecting. So, they've been there in the ups and downs. And I've mainly been the collector, just buying and buying. Like I said, I'm the best buyer there is on eBay when it comes to stuff. Nobody can outbuy me. But when it comes to going ahead and, reselling in order to fund the hobby, that's where it's like, okay, what can I do to get better at that? And practice makes perfect. We talking about practice.
Practice. Oh man, no, good stuff. And so to take it a step further, as far as the Wolfpack goes, Craig and Carmine had an incredible episode that dropped yesterday, dropped on Wednesday. If you guys don't, if you haven't yet, check it out. Crosstown Cardboard podcast. It's on YouTube and podcast as well. And they had their episode. I believe the title of it was "Re Up or Relax." So
Yes.
re up or relax after the national. Here we are, Oz. We're coming up on 2 weeks. Tomorrow's going to be 2 weeks from when the trade night was. So we're coming up on 2 weeks of the national being over. Re up or relax. Where are you at right now in your journey?
I would love to be in the re-up position, but the way the funding has taken place, especially after making a couple big deals at the national, I'm relaxing. I'm relaxing a little bit. I gotta re-up the piggy bank, and it's going to be a couple things that I'm looking to do. Obviously, saving here and there, but primarily, I had talked about it with Tony in Monday's upcoming episode. What I want to do is I have probably about 60 to 70 slabs that I'm looking to move. So that's something we'll probably get into a little bit later, but just tips on how to do it. I have the inventory, but what's the best way to go ahead and move them? And obviously, I'm not going to get full comps for these things. We all know that. We know how the game works. But what would be the best way to move those in order to accumulate the amount of money that we're talking about, so then I can go ahead and re up and get back in the game, get some skin in the game. What about you?
Well, before I even go into me, let me just say, yeah, I think going to the national, it does put a lot of things in perspective, right? It's almost like when you're dating a female, you're dating a girl, and all of a sudden you guys make plans to go away for the weekend. And like a Seinfeld episode is already coming to mind when I'm saying this, right? But it's like you go away for the weekend. It's like, you know what? By the time I come back from this trip with this woman, I'm going to know exactly where we stand. We're either going to be full steam ahead in our relationship or we're going to be broken up. And it kind of feels the same with the national, right? When you go there and you have your cards, you have your PC, you're either going to come back from there feeling incredible about where you're at in your journey, or you might be looking at your cards and saying, you know what, man, I've been inspired. I've been enlightened. I think I want to maybe not take a 180, but I might want to take a 90-degree turn coming up because
Mhm.
there are some things that really hit me in the feels that I did not see coming.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. And it's true. It's true. You really get to see, the big picture and the little picture at the same time when you go to a place like that. So it's really good to go ahead and just take some time to look at what you're trying to do, especially with the hobby. I mean, you're putting big time money into this. You know what I mean? It's not like these things are cheap. It's not like we're buying 5 cent cards, 10 cent. I mean, some people are like the commish, but I mean, other than that, everybody else, if you want to go ahead and build a substantial PC, you're going to put some money into it. So you know, sometimes you get out there and you go with your emotion, like I didn't have a plan when I went to the national. It was like, okay, I got 12 cards. I want to sell them. And then I have some money saved up, but I didn't really have a specific card on the radar that I wanted to get. It was just something that was going to hit me in the feels. And once I seen that card, that, that was the one I was going to get. It had to hit me. So no real plan, but once you do that, you spend the money, you get back and you reevaluate the situation. You kind of like say, okay, let me really go ahead and reevaluate everything, and not so much start from scratch, because you have a base that you have, but you want to know, okay, a year from now, next by next national? Where am I gonna be at with this collection? So it really gets you focused.
Yeah, definitely, man. And what you just said brings me back to what I discussed my immediate episode after coming back from the National. And I quoted Craig, New York City Sports Cards, on it because he said in the past, what do I want my collection to look like 20 years from now? So
Mhm.
that's the huge macro level, right? That's the huge picture. Big picture doesn't get any bigger than that. 20 years from now, what do I want it to look like? But in order to get there, most of us have to take pretty big steps. So, what would the first step be in that first big step to getting there? And yeah, man, it sounds like you've experienced that. I've experienced that a little, although for me it wasn't that. I said, you know what, I think I'm sensing a shift in my collecting. Now it's saying, you know what, you are on the right path. Everything that you want, you have been on the road toward, and you have been picking up some of this stuff. So basically, I don't know if you can see, basically sell all this stuff,
Mhm.
all these boxes that I have, all those boxes, even all those boxes on the just everywhere,
Yeah.
just start selling everything. And I think that's kind of like, I'm not going to start selling everything, but that's kind of where I'm at though. That's kind
Yeah.
of where I'm at, is like, I'm going to start moving my bulk stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm really going to try to pick up 1 to 3 vintage Grail cards.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Now, when you say the vintage grail, what are you looking at? You looking at Mickey Mantles? You looking at Jackie Robinson? Obviously, are we
Um,
are we talking baseball? Are we looking at basketball? What are you looking at?
well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned a card being on your radar. It's
Mhm.
so weird how, I don't know if it's our influence on each other or just all that we're really coming to the same stops together, right? Because at the National, the big card that everyone was talking about in the wolf pack, right, was the
Yes.
triple auto of Bird Dr. J Magic. Carmine was doing everything he could to try to pry mine from me. He was
Bro,
making
real
he
quick,
was
let me tell that because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
please
as
do.
soon as we got there, we talked about how the best part was being up in the room, the wolf pack room,
Yep,
where it was a few 3 guys staying there, and man, Carmine was all about that card, and he was trying anything and everything to get that off of you, and you were like, "Hey, man, I'm high on that. You can get it, but I'm high on it."
yep. And I didn't even wanna give him a number because I didn't wanna move it, I'm
Yeah,
I'm like, "I am high on it."
yeah,
I'm telling you right now, I don't even wanna give you a number. I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna give you a number. But he ended up finding one just like mine, a 10 auto on all 3, signatures, but his was a grade higher as far as the
yeah,
card grade. Mine's a 410, he found a 510. So, I have one, Carmine picks one up, and then right around that time, you and Tony are both like, "You know what? That's kind of a grail card for me too. I would love to have that in my collection." So now there's like 4 of us that have that on our radar, right?
yeah,
And then, not to mention the Tony and Big Ken thing with the Mike Tyson PMGs, right? But now you're like, "Rob, what is one of your grail cards that you're going after? What would those cards be?" I'll tell you what, one of them is what you've already mentioned. That's a Wilt rookie.
nice.
A Wilt rookie. So I've owned a Wilt rookie before. It wasn't the right one though.
So
It
you
wasn't.
sold I knew you had the one, but you sold it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. So I moved that probably 6 months ago or so.
okay.
And but yeah, I'm definitely looking for the right copy. And it sounds like you are too,
Yeah,
right? That's something that's kind of in your head too. So I think I think it's great, man. I think it's great that really, and I'm not hating on or casting any kind of judgment on anyone that does, but I love how none of us really do the prospecting quarterbacks thing, or do like the Cade Cunningham, or
mhm.
the Justin Herbert, and Big Ken buys a lot of it and flips a lot of it and stuff like that. But really, his PC is women's soccer,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
He's
So
not prospecting, he's just using that because he knows that's liquid, so let me get this at a good deal, sell it at a profit, and then use the profit that I have to go ahead and reinvest it into his real PC.
yeah, yeah. So the fact that we're all kind of I think that none of us really collect the same players, but there is a lot of overlap. And what I love about it is it's mostly goats. We mostly, I mean, look at your goats. I mean, your goats are Michael Jackson and Allen Iverson. I mean, those are goats.
Yeah.
Those are goats right there.
Hell, MJ's the GOAT, baby. Listen, I was just thinking today, I was delivering the mail, right? And I thought about all the posts that I've done, and I think about all the music that I haven't even scratched the surface as to what I could put on a post for Michael Jackson. And I'm just like, the wealth of music that this man developed from when he was 9 years old to the day he died when he was 50. It's amazing. You know what I mean? Again, there's bullcrap that went on. I don't know if it happened or not, but as far as Michael Jackson, the artist, and what he contributed, not only to music but to the world, I mean, he is a goat.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, you can't knock it.
Yeah.
I have no response for that. I have no debate to go back to. So I would agree for sure. So a lot of good comments coming in here. I've kind of been flying through them. So people are accusing me of being on 2x speed because of
On the comment.
how quick I'm kind of going through them. But
Uh,
you know, two sports cards is in the house, Global's in the house, Steve Splenda, Luke from Bleecker Street Cards, what is up? Manny is in the house. He says, who trusted Rob with these comments? BST Card says, I've been digging Iowa Dave on the Wolfpack Network.
yes.
BST, appreciate you, man. It's been a great pod,
Yo,
right?
yo, Iowa Dave is like, it's like he's like Bill Simmons almost. You know what I mean? It's like the 30 for 30, the way he comes out. The way his delivery is, it's real professional. It sounds like you're listening to something that would be on ESPN, and he's breaking down the cards, and I mean, he's awesome. And then we got to meet him at the trade night, which is even cooler. So yeah,
Yeah,
man, shout out to Iowa Dave doing big things, man. Really
yeah,
proud to have him on the network.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, so Global had when I had mentioned the Seinfeld episode, Global said that Raymond, everyone loves Raymond, was actually the best for relationship advice. So Denny is getting a lot of love in here. Global also says they should rebrand the National to the Global,
I like it.
right? I
I
can't
like it.
knock that. Luke from Bleecker Street Card says, I got clarity from the National. I want to focus almost entirely on the most meaningful and scarce cards of my favorite players, selling most of my collection to be ready for them when they came up. Let me tell you something. Luke today, and Luke, correct me if I'm misspeaking here. I saw a post that he did today. He has 4 playing day Jackie Robinson cards on card in person signed autos.
What? He does.
4 of them. 4 of them. Do you know how much these cards go for?
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson on card autos. He could buy multiple trailers in the trailer park. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, okay.
Uh,
I mean, he could
wow.
buy a fleet of trailers. Okay,
Wow.
dude, huge
Congratulations.
money.
That
Yeah,
that
man. So
that's dope. That's dope.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Steve Splenda says, "Shout out, Manny. You were a great sport the other week." So, Steve, man, we hope that you're healed up. We hope you're healing up okay from that cage match. I don't know, and any well wishes, Oz, or you still on that screw Steve Splenda tip?
Nah. Steve Splender's my boy. We chat all the time, man. So, everybody that's talking right now, like Steve actually said the real goats are Kevin Durant, LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Barry Bonds. So eh,
I don't know about LT.
LT?
I mean, I'm not knocking it because he had that season when was it 20 touchdowns in one season, and
Oh
he was
yeah,
like
when
the
he was
first to
going
ever do it, I think.
absolutely nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not all about championships, but when it comes to sports, it's all about championships.
That's where, you know what I mean, like that, we're gonna get a little into my insecurities about my PC, and that's like it's a Philly thing because it really is. It's like we're bred with this insecurity because we don't win many championships. You know what I mean? So like if you're a fan of the Yankees and the Giants have won some, so when for the longest time the Eagles didn't win anything until Nick Foles did his thing, BDN, and then the Phillies, it's been a while. They won in 2017, but obviously the Flyers haven't won since I think, I don't even know, it might have been the 70s or early 80s. And then, of course, the Sixers since the early 80s. So there hasn't been many championships rolling around. So the guys that I grew up watching and that I idolized, like an Allen Iverson or Charles Barkley, they don't have the championship. They don't have the hardware. So I collect them and I know they're goats and they're, greatest players of all time, but they don't have that hardware. So then people look at them and that's the first thing, that's the knock. It's like, oh, he's good, but so that's where I want to try to pick your brains, other than just get rid of all that and, start picking up Jordans.
So yeah, I mean, let's jump into it, man. Talk to me about the and I know you covered it a lot in Monday's episode, but talk to me a little bit about that anxiety that you do feel when it comes to going to shows, because you said a couple key points there. Do you like I'm going to ask you, would you have that same insecurity if you were walking up there with like high grade 90s Jordan inserts?
No, no, not at all. Because we talk about liquid in the hobby. Those cars are straight liquid. Everybody wants a Jordan, obviously the right Jordan, but for the most part, if you got Jordans, some 90s inserts, those are pieces that if you can't sell them because they're too much, they're too expensive, you can include them in a trade and people will be willing to take those in a trade, if you're moving up. Um, so with my collection, like I said, that's a big thing, that false sense of like, yeah, I love what I'm collecting, collect what you love. We always talk about that, and Allen Iverson being my guy. And in the Philly area, it's true. I can go to the Philly show or I can go to the Fishtown Card Show, set up, and I'll make a killing. I've done it twice, and it's easy. Now, once I step out, if I go to Chicago and I bring my Iversons, and I had, probably of the 12 cars, there was probably 6 of them that were Iversons, and they were the first ones people just put to the side except for one card, you know what I mean? So it was just like they put that, they were looking at my Jordans, they were looking at my Tigers, they were looking at my, my Trouts, but when it came to Iverson, first thing to do was just put that to the side. So it's like, yeah, what do you, I mean, you don't like no AI? So I know that, you know what I mean? And so that's where a lot of the insecurity comes in, because if I did have, the bangers that people are all looking for, like the goats, I don't think I would have that, yeah, as much insecurity.
Yeah. So without a doubt, I totally identify with that. So Big Ken and I, we hosted a trade night at Laz's Pop Century Collectible show or store in Oakland, New Jersey, probably about 4 weeks ago. It was like a week or two before the national. And at the trade night, we're out there, like music is going. They had the place catered. It was a big deal. Like Laz did it right. And everyone kind of has their Zion cases just like open, like flipped open and had cards on display, and everyone's just walking around looking in each other's Zion case, right? And I'm there, and the longer I'm there, I'm realizing like I don't have trade night type stuff. I don't have trade night type stuff. People had little to no interest in my cards, right? I mean, they were super friendly, talkative with me and stuff, but no one really had any interest in my cards. They were interested in talking to me, but
Mhm.
once they started flipping through some cards, they're like, yeah, I'm all set. Ken, on the other hand, had a crowd around him, a line out the door of people just making deals with him. I didn't make a single deal that night. He made 10 deals. We
Yeah.
were standing right next to each other. So there was a moment there, and longer than a moment, even leaving there, where I kind of felt insecure with like the stuff I brought. I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? I don't think I'm trade night material. I think I said it to him in the car ride home, and he just kind of laughed. But looking back at it, like I'm kind of glad I'm not,
Yeah.
because the kind of cards that I want, there aren't many comps for. The
Right.
kind of cards that I have and that I want to continue to obtain, hopefully, will only be moved, like not through Probstein. It would be moved either in private deals or like a
Mhm.
big auction house type stuff. That's the
Right.
kind of stuff I'm shooting for. I'm
Right,
not
right.
shooting for a Luca Prism PSA 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what Big Ken had, but Big Ken had a lot of quarterbacks,
Right, right, right. The
a lot of
QB.
ultra modern quarterbacks. But I, without a doubt, felt insecure, and I was not extremely confident.
Yeah. I it's true, and obviously I've talked about it a lot too. Being I'm an introvert and I can be a shy person, but Tony says he's like, "Yo, you know these cards inside and out," and I'm like, "You're right, I do." But it's not about that. You know what I mean? It's about I know when I come, if I go to the national, if I don't have the right cards, it's going to be difficult for me to trade, and that's what I was talking about as well with Carmine, what he's doing, which is cool. His PC just happens to be, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Tiger Woods. These guys are the greatest of all time.
Oh, they're goated. They've been knighted.
Yeah,
They could fall off a cliff tomorrow, and they would go down as
right. And then
absolute
on top of
legends.
that, he's throwing, national treasures, flawless, chunky patches on it. So he's getting, the best of the best cards with the best of the best guys. So then he'll have a card that's 1,500, another one that's 2,000, one that's 800, and then he could take all five, and then a guy will have a 101 Larry Bird flawless on card auto, and he can make give the guy five cards, and here, give me $300. And it's like, all right, cool, and it'll work because the stuff that he has, he's confident in, and people are more willing to go ahead and put those in their case and resell them because they know those will move because those are the goats. So that's just something like right now I'm probably willing, like I said, with those 60 to 70 slabs that I'm talking about, they're ranging anywhere from, there's some slabs that they've gone down so far as to like $75 a slab. And there's some that are like probably $600 a slab, but let's average it out, say like $200 out of the, you know, 60. So what was that? Is that 12,000
Yeah.
roughly? Yeah. I'm not very good at math, but yeah. So, if I were to get $200 a slab, I'd have $12,000 to work with, which, would then obviously be a nice little start to figure out I could definitely get my wilt.
See, those kind of cards, I feel like the best way would probably be through Probstein.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've never sent cards to Probstein to consign. Never, ever. But I've never actually sent any to a consigner, anyways. But I know guys in this hobby, okay? They make their freaking living. All they do is buy cards in person at 75% of comps. And they immediately, the same day, ship them out to Probstein. And they end up getting, after fees and taxes and everything, Probstein has like the lowest fees there are. I think he only does like he has a deal where he only does like 5%, I think. And then you got to figure taxes and shipping and stuff, but whatever. So I know guys that will buy all day at anything you have at 75% of comps because they send it to Probstein and then they make 15% on that. Like clockwork. That's
Yeah.
all they do.
See, I don't have that discipline, man. I mean, I would love to, but with my job the way it is, I'm barely, hanging on doing these podcasts. Yeah, as evidence today, just running right from work over here. So it's, I love this hobby though. So it's like I got to figure this out. I got to make it so that it's self-sufficient. Um, and the starting point is either using whether it's Probstein, Joku, or another avenue to just maybe set up at the next Philly show or Fishtown card show, and just try to get rid of the ones like you said, the dead weight, all those things that you have, the bulk that we have that we bought at one point. We made a decision to buy those cards. They meant something to us, and they still do. But like anything, you can outgrow those cards. So we have our base of what we want to keep, and then the rest of the stuff, we got to liquidate it and then use that to move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, without a doubt, man. Could you see yourself like traveling to other shows other than the national? Like, could you see yourself going to the Mint, going to
Yes.
Dallas, or do
Oh,
you
we were
just look
talking
at
about
your?
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're we're making plans. We're getting the requests. We've interviewed a ton of people around the hobby, so especially down in Texas. So we've got the request to go down to Dallas. We want to make the Atlanta Culture Collision. We want to go to the Mint. Obviously all that costs money.
Are
It's
you
it's
guys planning on going to Culture Collision in January?
We've talked about it. We haven't made any solid plans. Are you? Looks like you're thinking about it.
Yes, I actually am thinking about it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so I'm definitely considering it. I, talked to Prism God at the National and just kind of got in my ear a little bit, and I was like, okay, you know what?
I like that.
Maybe.
I like
Um,
that.
so Manny is saying that Oz, you
I
look
look
like
like a
a
Chippendale.
Chippendale with your work outfit. And then ripping and flipping card says Oz coming in with that big bill cap, no cap.
No cap. No cap.
That is a pretty
What's
big
up to
bill.
Reckless Cards? I don't know if that is Miss Courtney or Mr. Cocaine Bear. What's up?
Uh, could you imagine that? Imagine getting yelled at everywhere you go. Was it you guys
Cocaine
that were?
Bear.
Was it you that was telling me, or Tony? And they're like, yeah, everywhere he goes, they yell cocaine.
Yeah, his kid. He'll be walking with his kids.
Oh my
They're like
God,
Cocaine Bear. He's like, come on, come on, come on,
that's
relax.
nuts. That's nuts. So yeah, so I think the Mint Collective is the place where people go to socialize, right? That's like kind of like the cool kid table is the Mint, and there's like a handful of dealers there. I don't think really a ton of stuff gets sold or deals. That's like
Nah, it's
the
it's a
card.
B2B, business to business. It's building your brand. It's looking at
Yeah,
the new technologies that are coming out. But hey, for what we do as far as content creation and getting the names out, that's a good place for us to go, just to get the word out.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we could all talk about Culture Collision and
I like it.
maybe plan
So
plan a nice
that's in
little wolf
January,
pack
you said?
getaway. Yeah,
In
yeah, yeah.
January?
It's in January. Yep.
Now is
Yeah.
that like mid-January or late January? What
I think early to mid.
early to mid?
For some reason, like January 12th is sticking out to me in my mind because I just looked it up earlier this week. So,
Yeah, we gotta get on that, make it a little wolf pack road trip.
whoo, man, absolutely. And now that Carmine's on the East Coast too, I mean, we'd
Yes.
literally have to go right by him. It just makes sense.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Now
So,
will we drive down or are you looking to fly?
I mean, ideally, probably fly. I
Yeah,
mean, because I know for me, I would probably fly because my time's going to be limited. I would probably have maybe 72 hours tops, to go.
yeah.
So if I was going to do that, I would, just to make sure I made the most of my time, I would probably have to fly down there.
Shout out to, Fathers on Vintage Cards. What's up? Mr. Ripping and Flipping Cards and Stooks, Baseball Cards and Curiosities. What's up?
Yes, yes, yes. Um, Reckless says that the Mint grew its cellar floor by 30,000 square feet. I don't know. Is that a lot? 30,000 square feet? I don't even know what that is compared to like a regular show. I would imagine that's big.
It
It
sounds
sounds
big.
big. So Denny's saying Culture Collision's actually the 26th through the 28th. Thank you for that, Denny. Appreciate that.
Okay,
Reckless says that they listened to the criticism of having not enough space there. So yeah, man, makes
interesting.
sense. Makes sense. So we're talking about Mint, right, and everything like that. Have you and Tony had the conversation? I would imagine you do on somewhat of a regular basis, or maybe you're just so in sync that you don't need to have it. But what direction do you guys see the content going? Is there going to be any kind of change in the content, or are you guys going to keep it just as is?
That's a good question. We're trying to tinker and see what works best. Um, we've tried to concentrate more so on doing the dual pod, just Tony and I talking more about the cards, um, sprinkling some interviews here and there, but for the most part, just doing the two of us. And once we get talking though, man, it's like we go forever. I'm thinking we got to shorten it up a little bit, make it like maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes more consumable. We tend to go an hour, 10 hour, 15 minutes.
Well, I
Plus
remember your first few episodes. I can remember you guys doing like 90-minute episodes.
no.
Oh yeah, listen,
Nah.
quote me on that. Write that down, someone.
You want me to get receipts?
You
Because
guys had
I looked them when you told me that and I was like, wait a minute, is that true?
You guys had an hour, 28-minute episode guaranteed. It was something like that. And I listened to the whole damn thing too. I remember exactly how my office was set up. My office was set up a little bit differently. I remember how I was sitting, what the desk was like, and just kind of listening to it on like 1.5x speed.
Nice. Nice. I forget
So
who it was. I think it was Kevin Cormier was talking about how he listens to us on 1.5 speed. So it was funny, this past national when we were all talking, how he's just used to us talking so fast.
Yep. So shout out to Manny. He says this is a way better show without cranky Tony on it. Listen, and Manny is not someone that stirs the pot, so I believe that he fully thought about that comment and really feels that. So
All right, you ready,
sorry,
Rob?
Tone.
You ready? I got the receipts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. First episode, episode 1 was 28 minutes. Episode 2 was 38 minutes. Episode 3 was 33 minutes. Episode 4, 32. Episode 5, 24. And Hobby Pitfalls episode 6 was 1 hour and 1 minute. And then 1 hour and 4, 1 hour and 8, 1 hour and
Okay.
1.
See, now we're talking. You
What do you
guys
mean
rattled
talking?
off
They're all an hour.
4 straight episodes over the hour mark.
By 1 minute, stop. Close.
So, but yeah, so Ripping and Flipping Card says Cousins Collectibles podcast. The conversation's always good here. Time is irrelevant. Quality matters more than time. That's my
Thank you.
2 cents.
Thank
Orlando,
you.
a collector's dream in the house. Manny.
Orlando. Hey, did Tony reach out to you yet? Let me know. If not,
Listen,
I'm gonna
I've
get on
been
his list.
trying to reach out to. He doesn't. Orlando is one of these guys. He doesn't want to be reached out to unless he wants to be. Listen, I would be on my Sunday night PWCC lives 4 different times. I'd say, Orlando, email me.
Hit me
Here's
up.
my email. DM me. He wants something to do with it. So if he goes to you guys, we're done, Orlando. We're through. No, it's all good. It's all
Uh,
good.
he's an
Uh,
untouchable, bro. He's a goat. You want to talk about goats? Orlando's the goat.
yeah, man. So Tony, any recent pickups? Any mail days? I mean, you're wearing your uniform.
Mhm.
I had to ask.
Any recent mail days? I'm gonna be honest, bro. They all came last week. I got a couple things that are coming, but it's not card related. It's my nerd alert toys that are coming. Um, with those things, it's crazy, Rob, because everything's pre-order for a lot of the stuff. So I'll get a He-Man, a Skeletor figure that's a Mondo, which is the 12-inch figure. You got to pre-order them, and you got to wait 4 to 5, 6 months before they come in, and then they just show up all at the same time. So right now I got like 6 figures that I'm waiting on. But as far as cards, the last cards I got was the Oscar the Grouch Pop
That's
One,
amazing.
12 cans, baby.
So Oscar got an Oscar the Grouch. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. Dude, this exact card as I'm looking at my Freddy Krueger that I purchased, the
Oh,
Robert Englund.
what?
So
Is
these
that an
two cards,
auto?
that's auto. He signed it,
Yeah,
Robert
Robert
Englund.
Englund. Yep.
Yep. So these two cards were sitting side by side at the National. Tony's like, but this one, I got this one off eBay, not signed. The one that was at the National was signed by the guy that passed away in 2019. So Tony's like, bro, you got to get that card. That's like you know what I mean? I'm like, they're asking $500 for it. I said, I gotta pay $500 for an Oscar the Grouch card. He's like, nah, dude, that's all you. That's literally you. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I like that Freddy Krueger. So I copped the Freddy Krueger, and then as soon as I got back, Tony sent me the link. There was only one of these online, but it's not signed, but it's a Pop One PSA 9. So that it does the trick.
Wow. I love it, man. I love it. Good
So what
stuff.
about you? I know you always got stuff coming in. What do you got, man?
You know what? I planned to have stuff to show, and I have no idea where my piles went. But so kind of like I've been doing, kind of like what you feel like you've been doing with your AI. Like I've really been doing that with Eli for the last year. I've just really been buying Eli, and it's one of these things where it's like I will likely never move these cards. But if I ever did want to move these cards for whatever reason, I think it would be really hard to move these cards. I think it would be really hard to move my Eli PC, kind of like how you're feeling like with
I
your
think shit. If I was standing next to you, I feel a lot better with my AIs than if you had Eli. I feel a little more confident.
so just a couple recent Eli pickups that I've had. This
Ooh,
is an immaculate out of 25 marks of greatness on card auto.
nice.
Oh yeah. This thing is yeah,
Now,
I'm
now, does Eli do shows?
um You know what? He actually last time I was at Hofstra, I saw him. I literally was 20 feet from him and I saw him. But does he really do shows? No.
No.
He rarely ever does
Huh.
any shows, any signings,
So
anything.
that's weird. So, like, Peyton's all about the hobby, you know what I mean? He's got with Golden, he got his hands in a ton of
Yep.
stuff when it comes to the hobby, but Eli's just more so like, "Eh,
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting."
So something that just came today, 2008 gold refractor, tops chrome. Love these things, and it matches perfectly with the one that I got from the National, the auto, the
Nice. I was
on
gonna say
card
that looked
gold
familiar,
auto.
so it's the same card, but without the auto?
Yep, both refractors.
Nice.
Yeah, man, loving
Look,
these.
those refractors, man, they just hit different, man.
I know,
That's
and
why I
you know
love
what?
I have a little my showcase right in front of me right here, and I just took all my shiny AIs and I put them, row after row after row, and I have on top of it is an Eagles poster so that, the 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 sunlight doesn't get onto it and ruin the stuff. So, but when I remove that, bro, and the light shines on this showcase, it's the most amazing thing. Like
Yeah,
those 90s inserts are unbelievable.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Um, all right, I have no
So
idea
Blaine
where.
Blaine is saying he's surprised you got no Stray Hand or Tiki Barber stuff.
I have a few. I have a few gold refractors of those guys. Nothing else though. No, like huge chunky game worn patches or anything like that. Um, when it comes to my Giants PC, I try to keep it Eli Manning and Phil Sims. I definitely have a nice Lawrence Taylor
I was gonna
PC.
say,
I
yeah, what's
yeah, I
up with Lawrence
definitely
Taylor?
uh have a great LT PC.
Nice.
The real LT, by the way, not LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean
Ooh, shots fired.
the
Hey,
real LT who
Kamikaze Sports Car says, "F the washed up players." Just kidding.
no, it's all good. It's all good. So, but Lawrence Taylor, I think if you listen to experts, they will call Lawrence Taylor the GOAT. They'll
Yeah,
call him the greatest of all time. I know the whole Brady thing has kind of really grown legs in the last 10 years, and
yeah.
for good reason. But what I would say is, you know where these cards are from, right? Do you see the play?
Yep. Is that the last play of the Super Bowl? Is
Last
that
play of the Super Bowl 2008.
Yep.
Yep. So obviously Brady is probably considered unanimously the GOAT for the football, but Lawrence Taylor has long been considered the GOAT, even over quarterbacks. So,
Where do you rank Lawrence Taylor in regards to Reggie?
well, Reggie he was unstoppable, right? There's a few guys that are unstoppable. Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Mike Singletary, Ray Lewis, right? You have these guys that are, I don't know if I'd say Charles Haley because I don't think he had real periods of full on dominance, but
Mhm.
guys like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reggie White. I mean, I
One
think that he
1A, 1B?
no, I think LT is probably in front of Reggie White, and I'm sorry to say that. I'm
Is
trying
that
not to
is
be a
that
homer,
because
man.
of your boy who do you listen to?
Francesa,
Yeah, that sounds like a Francesa hot take.
listen,
I got listen, we're gonna have to listen. That's gonna be a deep dive. That's gonna be a subset, some show where we're gonna compare LT and Reggie White and see who the real goat is.
yeah. Yeah, no, listen, I mean, it's no comparison. But let's let's do it. We could sell pay-per-view tickets if you want, I mean, we could definitely do it.
Uh,
But yeah, so that's 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 really it. My male days have only consisted of Eli Manning since I got back from the National.
nice. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
So, anything else? I know we're running out of time. It's almost 10:30.
Mhm. I know you
Anything
got
else on
things
your
to
mind?
do.
Any
Let
thoughts?
me just take a look here real quick. I think we hit up pretty much everything that we wanted to.
Orlando Collector's Dream says LT wins.
I don't know.
Steve
Orlando.
Splenda, Lawrence Taylor was arguably the greatest ever. I agree.
Who are these guys? Never heard of Collector's
Splenda,
Dream or Steve
Orlando. Who are
Splenda.
these?
What do they know?
Father Son Vintage Cars says best radio show ever. I'm not sure what he means by that, but I would like to think he's talking about us.
Oh yeah, of course,
You know what I
of
mean? Because
course.
we have one of us can be Howard Stern, the other is who's the guy that did those songs? You've made reference to his radio shows before. He always did the countdowns.
Oh, shoot, damn it,
Not like Kit Kelly. Who is it?
Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. So one of us can be Casey Kasem, one of us could be Howard Stern. You could be Stern if you want. I'm fine with being Casey Kasem.
Yeah, I like Howard because I like to swear, so
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Mike
father
and
son vintage, Mike and the Mad Dog, absolutely. So if you watch the Mike and the Mad Dog 30 for 30 documentary, I'm actually featured in that.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I told the story to you guys at the National in the hotel room. I told you guys about this. Yeah, yeah. Because I
yep,
went to
yep,
Francesicon and they were filming.
that's right.
ESPN was there filming, and I was at Francesicon with my brother, and we were like front row right there. Yeah, I'm a Francesa groupie for sure.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
incredible.
We know. You don't have to. Ugh, I think he's led you down the wrong pathway when it comes to fandom, but it's all good. It's all good. We all have our guys, especially with our hometown guys.
Listen, even when it comes to, I love what I consider my generation of players. So like when I sent you in the Wolfpack chat earlier the hot gun, the 1990s score hot gun, Randall Cunningham.
Mhm.
When I saw that, I immediately felt nostalgia. I immediately felt this like slight flow of dopamine going off my brain by seeing a picture of Randall Cunningham, number 12. I'm
Yes.
picturing him running around the field like a freaking gazelle. No one could stop him. No one can grab him. He was elegant in the way he ran. He was incredible. When I saw that card, I was like, oh, I want
Yeah,
that card.
dude.
So
So many.
it,
He
you
did
could
so
buy it
many
for
crazy
99
plays.
cents on eBay, but it's like, I want that card.
See, Stooks knows what he's talking about. That's a guy that knows what he's talking about. He says Reggie White is my goat. So,
You notice how he said Reggie White. You notice how he didn't say Reggie White is the GOAT.
he's my goat.
He said my goat. He's my goat. No, shout out to you, Stooks, for sure. But yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Um, any plans, any upcoming shows or anything like that you're
We
doing
do
that
have a
you're
couple
working on?
shows that are coming up with what is it? The Fishtown Card Show and the Philly show coming up pretty
I
soon.
thought you
So
were banned from Fishtown.
nah, we own that. We run that. At one point, we were official sponsors of the Fishtown Card Show. So anytime we want, we can go set up. We just like I said, we when I set up the two times, it was good for the experience. But then I kind of was like, I don't want to sell my cards anymore. These are my it's my PC. So and then I'm not going out like Big Ken and getting an inventory to sell. So it just became where I just kept accumulating. So now I'd probably be more than willing to go ahead and set up again. So that might be something to hit up the powers that be over there and set up one more time.
Listen, have a what a liquidation sale and get that Wilt Chamberlain off of Tony, because that Wilt is a beautiful copy,
It
and
is.
it's for the set. It's pretty decently centered for how off centered that set and how
Yeah.
miscut that set consistently is. So if
With
you can
his, it's
find
funny
something,
when I first seen his Will Chamberlain because some of those sets they don't have a top. You know what I mean? So I was thinking like his has no top. So I was like,
yeah,
is that cut off like that? And he told me he's like, yeah, that's how it is. So as far as the centering, left to right and bottom, it's perfect. But the top is completely there is no top.
yeah.
So then I was like, damn, that's perfectly centered. Then so the whole time, then I looked at I'm like, no, that's not that actually has a top. I said, your shit's way off, top to bottom. I said, but it's still compared to the way the most cards you see with Will Chamberlain, it still looks good. It almost fits.
To me, his copy definitely passes the eye appeal.
Yes.
The eye appeal test, and that's the big thing when it comes to vintage, right? It's like typically centering and eye appeal do go hand in hand, but there are some cards like that one that Tony has, the 61 Fleer copy. It does feel like it has good eye appeal, even though top to bottom, it's not centered.
Yep, but left to right. It almost looks as if, like I said, the card was set up, made that way with no top.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hector, real quick, says that he says, I hate that my past heroes were part of the junk wax era. Those cards only are great signed now. Let me say, Hector, I have probably about 15 Phil Sims junk slabbed on card auto, in person auto graded. I probably have another 40 that I've bought off eBay that are raw and still signed. Now, his signature is one of those signatures that, like, it is always consistent. If there's anything at all that's wrong, you know. But here's the thing: even if some of them weren't legit autos, the raw ones I bought, I mean, I'm paying $10 for them raw. So yeah, I completely agree, Hector. I mean, very few cards at all are worth any money.
Yeah,
Beautiful AI, beautiful
yeah,
AI.
this is the ultimate, Gem Mint 10 auto. You can see the
Yep,
black. So cards like that, these are, the Reebok one.
love it.
So these are obviously, you talk about the junk wax. These are readily available anytime you want. You can get them for $2 there. There you go. Beautiful.
How cool! Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
talk about two of the most iconic junk wax cards, both in person auto signed with auto 10 grades. That's how you can get junk wax cards that have some value. I mean, there's a really cool aspect to being able to buy this Emmett Smith card for $1.99 off eBay raw. But there's also this aspect where it's like, well, this card, I'm nostalgic about this card, and I wish it had more value because it's so valuable to me. I want the
Yes.
value of the card to be represented with how valuable it is to me. Well, there are ways to do it. This thing, I mean, don't this thing wasn't a ton of money. The copy is authentic and the auto grade is a 10. I think I paid $300 for it. And to me, I mean, this is a card you will never see in my case because even though I was a Giants fan, I'm so nostalgic to these Dallas Cowboy teams.
Yeah.
3 Super Bowls in
How
a
could you not
row.
be? Yeah.
What, what was that?
I said, how could you not be? They were
Yeah.
the teams you love to hate. It's like
Oh yeah.
you wish the players were on your if the players were on your
Yep.
team, you'd be loving life. But then, it's Dallas. You hate Dallas, even as a Giants fan, and especially as a Philly fan. And then when they went ahead and won the 3 championships, and then you have all these Fugazi fans, from the area. That's the worst thing in Philly. The Dallas fans. I don't know if it's that same way in
Oh
like New York, but dude, it's ridiculous, and there's just fights all the time. So it's your brother. It's like, Philly versus Philly. It's like these people you grew up with. They've never stepped foot in Dallas, but they're diehard Dallas fans,
yeah.
and it's the worst. And it's just like,
Yep. 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 All right. It is 10:35, sir. I do have to get going, man, and I know you have to as well. So, any closing? Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for
oh, you see,
letting me slip into Tony's shoes, aka his high heels, and just they're a good fit. His high heels are a good fit. He's got some nice pumps,
it's
and
it's 6-inch pumps.
listen, I appreciate it. So,
No, no, thank you, sir. You saved my life. I apologize to everyone for being late. I'm never late, but they got me at work today. Usually on Thursdays, I'm home at least by 9 o'clock, and I have a little bit of time to grab something to eat. So I'm running on fumes right now. But when I seen that nice slick ball head, and I see the beard, and I get the soothing sounds of the sports card therapist, it's time to go, baby. You got to put all that aside, and it's time to rock and roll. So shout out to Tony. Hope he's having fun out there doing his thing. Nashville, Tennessee. God knows what they're getting into. Just don't get arrested. And looking forward to seeing him next week. We got the episode dropping on Monday. Make sure you guys check it out. We got a really great interview. It's where we do half. Tony tells a story, and then the other half is where we have a pretty decent interview that you guys need to check out. So make sure you check that out. Rob, you got anything you want to plug?
No, that's it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on, and look forward to having you guys back on my show pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thanks again. And fellas, everybody in the chat, Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you guys. And we're going to end this like we always do. And that is keep focused, keep positive, and keep collecting. Hey, yo, Rob, bring the beat back. Easy
Dude,
peasy, brother. That went quick.
dude, I know, man. 56 minutes. Dude, that was awesome, man. We could have went all night.
I know. It's true. Yeah,
All
let me
right,
know if
I
you're
gotta go,
interested
man. I
real quick.
appreciate you
Let
very
me know
much.
if you're interested in this. This is top quality V friends. Let me know.
Is it?
Yeah, bro.
You got that from the National?
Yeah, I got this. See that number, what is it, 93?
Yep.
And it's out of 100.
Oh,
So
wow.
I ripped it out of this pack here. So apparently, I mean, this is selling for like 300 bucks graded. So
Wow.
yeah, I think I'm gonna get it graded.
Eh, awesome, man.
Never know.
Listen,
All right, bro.
man, be
Appreciate you
safe.
hopping on board, man.
Great having you on, or thanks for having me on. And yeah, dude, you rock, man. Dude,
No,
so I'm learning those reels. Did you see the reel I posted today, the Mickey Mantle reel?
no, I've been busy. Well, you
Oh my
posted something?
God.
Well, you're doing reels now?
For PWCC, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
I stopped doing the Sunday night show, and they
Uh-huh.
were like, "Well, how would you feel about doing those reels, those like talking head reels?"
Yeah.
And where like my face is kind of in the bottom of the corner, and for 60 seconds, I'm telling a story about a card.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying that, man, and
Oh,
I'm
that's perfect.
yeah, man. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I did my first one today. I think it came out kind of rough. I wasn't really that happy with it, but
I'm sure you killed it. So was Mickey Mantle.
yep,
Now, is this still stuff that's in the auction then?
yep, yep.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Nice.
dude, freaking so this reel I posted I don't know, like 5 hours ago. It's at 2,700 views, okay? There was one that
Yo,
Adam
Rob, why don't you go ahead? We're still live, bro.
oh, my bad. So so there was one that